So, why visual management? And this is a paper by me and Algan Teesel and Parisha Tsotsopoulos from our university. So, there has been much interest in visual management, both in practice and academia recently. And for extending the use of visual management guidelines, design guidelines are needed. But then for design guidelines, we need theoretical understanding of what visual management is, and of course, the why question, which leads to explanation, is a question for theory. And I found a paper last year saying that here we have a theory of visual management. So the authors were Bainon, Davis, and Lederman. Also, they said that there has been very little theorization on visual management up to now, so that their theory would be the first one. And now they should be present here, but I guess they apologize even if I criticize them here a bit. I was not excited by their paper. And also I was challenging their idea that there has been little theorization. I started to look around, and actually I found that the scholarly field of visual management has been too narrowly defined. There are theoretical papers, but they are fragmented into many relatively small areas of literature. So this triggered us to create a initial review on existing theoretical explanation of visual management. But first, let's take a look at this affordance theory of visual management by Bainon, Davis, and Lederman. An affordance, opportunity for action made possible both by the effectivities of the actor and by structures in the environment. They are defining three domains where visual devices are operating: articulation, communication, and coordination, and they discuss several other aspects. Now I'm proposing that if you're interested in the topic, so you read. So there are interesting things. Let's look at the prescriptions. Visual devices should be taught as multimodal, thus utilizing all senses. But then this is something that Dr. Algan said already how many years ago, almost 10 years ago, in one of his papers. Devices should be taught of in terms of facilitating action taking. What else? Third, I stumbled on this performative. I don't understand what it is, and maybe it is me, in the same way as social science management scholars are annoyed by our technical terms and don't understand, and then decline to take anything in. But I was not happy. So actually I assessed it so that there's not much new, and if there's new, so I don't understand it. And generally, the discussion is about collaborative devices of visual management. There are devices which are addressing one individual, and they are an important type, but they are not discussed by Bainon, Davis, and the other author. That theory is not explaining why visual management is preferred in some approaches to management and not in others. This term affordance is at the high level of abstraction, is at the same level as, say, technology. We should be using technology, but what exactly? It's very vague. This term was invented by Gibson in '79, and he said that it's something that refers both to the environment and to the animal. So it gives an illusion of explanation, even if it does not detail what is that something. That theory is not comparative. It does not say when, in which situations visual management can be used. And actually, prior theorizing has not been taken as a starting point. There has been an approach based on affordances since early 90s called ecological interface design already. So we don't have a theory of visual management, but we have ingredients, and it will be possible to build upon these ingredients towards consolidation, and this is a great area for PhD students to do work. So what do we have? So in consultant guidebooks, and also Beinon Davis and Lederman say that in visual management, potential to be perceived directly without any intermediate conscious cognitive processing. Their statement is problematic because they say that affordances are always that kind. No, they are not, of course, even inside visual management. But what is the explanation for this kind of direct capture? So, of course, there's a well-known theory presented by example by Kahneman, that there are two systems of the mind. System 1, which is automatic and quick without voluntary control, and system 2, which is controlling mental activities and is handling speech and understanding speech and so on. So the hypothesis which is at hand is that visual information is captured by system 1, visual information, visual management, when comprehension of written information is handled by system 2. So this is the simple explanation for this direct and rapid access of information. So visual management is superior in the speed of capture of the conveyed message if it's well designed device, if there's a well devised device of visual management. Reliability in comprehension. Again, if there's a direct capture of the message through the system 1, so in comparison to system 2, reading or listening, so with system 2 there are much more possibilities for mistakes, misunderstandings, and so on. So visual management should be more reliable. There are good reasons for believe that, but there is not much research underpinning which indicates that there's good possibility for making empirical research. But anyway, there is reason to believe that visual management leads to higher reliability. Then we have the idea that actually reason and mind cannot be kind of closed into what we have in our head, but rather our whole body is, or maybe an extension of mind. There is the phrase embodied cognition. And Barbara Tversky, who is one of the finest writers in science, I know. So she says that when thought overwhelms the mind puts it into the world in diagrams or gestures. So a thought is projected into the world. So human actions organize space to convey abstractions, and she has invented a term, spraction, to convey this idea. So physical action is a direct extension of thinking, and especially from air control context, there are good examples that air controllers, they have strips into which they write information on each flight, and they just do not want to do it on computer. They want to have a physical artifact as a continuation of their thinking. In construction, we have these post-it notes which are put into a specific place on the wall. It is exactly the same. There's a great commitment when there's a physical action in addition to the internal decision. And this is very, very interesting aspect. Matching of visual devices with different cognitive or action capabilities. So this ecological interface design, it is essentially an idea that there are 3 levels of action: skill, rule, and knowledge-based. Skill-based action is automatic when you see a situation, so you know what to do. Rule-based means that you have to select a rule. Knowledge-based means that you have to deliberate based on your knowledge and come up to a solution in a new situation. And actually, in visual management system, we have all. We have andon lights, we have rules posted, say, through one-point lesson, and we have A3, which helps in the knowledge-based response. Common ground, situational awareness and shared understanding, they have become fashionable recently, but common ground comes from Aristotle, so it's an old concept. And they are used a bit widely, but common ground could, with good reason, be used to refer to background knowledge, language, and terminology between people, situational awareness about awareness of current situation, environment, where action is unfolding, and a shared understanding is about comprehension of the problem or task or goal. And of course, again, in our lean context, big room, and all what is there is very much about creating both common ground, situational awareness, and shared understanding. Avoiding visual overburdening. 5S is exactly that. We are better in capturing the situation when there is no disturbing elements out there. Creating adherence. In rhetoric, actually, from early on, it was not only oral, but people were using gestures, pictures, and so on. So rhetoric is one underlying discipline of visual management tool. Why is visual management preferred in some approaches and not in others? Simply because it speeds up, it increases reliability, and more rapid processes and less variability are the basic principles of lean, and therefore it is found in lean to be a good topic. Instead, in conventional management, these benefits are just anecdotal, or they vanish into the overall mess, and the benefits of visual management are not appreciated. So, visual management, it is fascinating because it is at the crossroads of so many different phenomena and disciplines, old and new, and for creating a theory of visual management. So several angles and levels are needed. We need that cognitive view between one device, individual. We need the kind of social view between visual device and group of people. We need neurological view, rhetorical, communicative view, and operations management view. As I told, excellent area for research for young people doing a PhD or even master studies. That closes my presentation.